Wrap him up, now he owe money. That's old as weekend money.
Crazy.
Yeah, midday, I'm with Lil J tryna kick me a body. Yeah, 4 o'clock at the court.
Going, it's Jay, and it's about that time to get too faded. Today we got my homeboy in the park, in the chair. You see, buddy, he go high top / temp fade. So boom, we gonna go in with that one open, just to clean out the area. Going with the grain, and basically this gonna bring all the hairs down to the same level. So when you go in the fade, it's gonna come out much cleaner and much smoother. Now you gonna want to make sure that you brush down all the hairs when you're done with this. You gonna brush the hairs down after every step to get the best results. Trust me. Now as you can see, I'm going in with the trimmers. Right now we're going in and setting that guideline, starting at the bottom of the vertical bar, and then going in a rainbow type direction. So as you can see, I already done started off the rainbow type shape with the guideline. Going in, you want to make sure it's as sharp as possible. Now most barbers, they say when you go in with the trimmers for the guideline, it's going to be hard to take out. But I feel that when you go in with the trimmers, it leads to a cleaner look, because the bottom of the fade is balder, it's cleaner. And then it's really not that complicated to take the line out, as long as you use the method that's provided later in the video. Now that you have the rainbow shape connected all the way to where the ear starts, you're gonna clear out the hairs, going against the grain. And against the grain is basically the opposite direction of how the hair grows. So in his case, his hair grows going down, so we're using the trimmer to go up against the grain. Now for step 3, we're gonna go in with that open, no guard. Open blade, no guard. By open, I mean push the lever on the side back towards the back of the blade. Pushing it towards the front of the blade is closed. When it's open, it's gonna cut less hair, but a closed blade is gonna cut the most hair that it can. Boom, step 4. You go in 1 guard, keep the blade open. We're going up 1/2 inch like before. And you're gonna watch the fade all start to come together. Now right here, I noticed that there was a few dark spots still at the top, so I decided to go in with that 1 and close the lever slightly to even it out a little more. Pop out step 5. You're gonna come in with the 1/2 guard, 0.5. You're gonna start off with the blade open. Start towards the top of the fade, that top black line. Well, it's basically in the middle of that trimmer line and that 1 open line. You're gonna fade that line out. Then as you can see, as I'm going lower into the blend, I'm messing with the lever. You want to close it. The lower you go, the higher you go, you open the blade. Now to get that top line that's still there in the top, we go in with that open 1.5, 1.5 guard. So we go in flicking out with the same rotation. As you can see, it's already starting to disappear. And then as we go in, to get it to disappear even more, we're gonna mess with that guard, the lever, as I said before. The lower you go, you close the guard halfway. The higher you go, you open the guard. Simple. Now the final part of the final step, step 5, is going that trimmer. And as I said before, this is the method to taking out that harsh line, quote unquote, that is put in with the trimmer. You use the trimmer to take out the line with the trimmer. So boom, as you can see, you can barely even notice the trimmer line. So that basically erases the claims that taking out the trimmer line is very complicated. All you gotta do is trust the process. Now I begin to go in on the client's beard. You want to line it up with the line at the top of the ear. Basically, you're going a perfect curve to where the ear is supposed to match the back of the beard. So you try to make a perfect curve to make the straightest curve possible, if that makes sense. This part is basically called detailing. It's an optional step depending on how good you want the haircut to look, but I like to go back the trimmer, or I'll go with back in with the clipper and have the blade open. Or like right now I have the closed 0.5 guard, which is basically equivalent to the open no guard. Now moving on to the back, we're gonna repeat the same 5 steps. We're going in with that closed clipper instead of the trimmer, because the hair in the back is way more sensitive, which means if you go in with that trimmer, it will technically be harder to get that line out. But it's really not as hard as many make it seem. It's just more work. So why do more work when you could go in with clipper and close the blade and call it the same thing? Y'all boys, make sure y'all go follow the Instagram J2Faded_. There I'm posting funny content, skits, more tutorials, but just the shorter versions and all type of stuff. Link is in the description. Now we come in like front. We go in with the 1.5 close to debulk all the ingrown hairs. Unfortunately, the camera is focusing on the absolute wrong thing. But anyway, we just like the front, we go in with the 1.5 close to bring all the hairs to one even level. We follow that up with the open no guard to start that second guideline and go from there. Now you come behind that with that 1 guard open, make that 1/2 inch translation and go from there. Boom, you come in with that 2 guard close to blend in that bulk at the top. As you can see, I know you can see that harsh line in the middle. So we're gonna attack that head on, especially since the client said that they want the undercut hair, which is the hair that's under the high top, to be as low as possible, even though they want the temp fade. Even though he wanted the temp fade. That's really why I said this is really high top / temp fade action. Now come in with that 1.5 open to end that blending that's at the top, to get that line out that's at the top. take out that open no guard line mixed with the one open. You're coming in with the 0.5 guard, starting with the blade open. As I said before, the lower you go, you want to close the guard more, as you just seen me do right there. And make sure when you're blending, you're using mainly the corners of the blade. That's how you make sure that you attack the point that you're trying to attack more precisely. Now for the final step in the back, you come in with the blade all the way closed to take out that bottom line, which is the first guideline that we put in on the back. Like I said, make sure you maintain the usage of those corners on the blades. Now the best way to cap off that neck taper is with the lineup, of course. When doing the lineup around the ear, you want to make sure you tap as light as possible because the skin is super sensitive near the ear. So you're gonna make sure that you're tapping only the hairs. You don't want the blade to touch the skin at all. This client requested me to fade the hot taper fade into the beard. Now, when you're fading with the beard, well, really fading with anything, you want to go against the grain. So somehow on his beard, the hairs grow going forward. So in order to go against the grain, I have to go to the left or backwards to get the proper fade. Though you going in a different direction on the beard, you still using the same exact steps from the sides and the back. Now the part we've all been waiting for, the lineup. So before we get into the lineup, it's best to disinfect. As you seen, I just sprayed some alcohol in a paper towel. We gonna disinfect and get any leftover dirt or oils off the skin. This will help the blades hit the hairs on the lineup way better to make the line way crispier and sharp, as well as making sure the skin is clean and disinfected, of course. And this is going to dry the skin out, which is going to prevent any accidental cuts or nicks or anything of that sort. After disinfecting, we're going with some holding spray. Me personally, I like to go in with Got to Be Glued holding spray. Yes, the same holding spray that you might see some females use on their wigs. Same thing. Now, me personally, when it comes to the lineup, I like to start on the vertical bars just to get a better view of how the hairline is supposed to look. And then after you get the vertical line straight, you're gonna go over to the front, start halfway, and basically connect the dots. As you can see, I'm on the other side, getting the vertical line right. And then you can see in the middle, I already started the lineup process. So now I just gotta connect the middle to the vertical bar. And no, this is not a pushback. This is, well, basically, no, it's not a pushback. It's me cutting off the overhang that he had. Because basically he hasn't had like a fully 90-degree angle on this lineup right there in about a year. So all that overhang has just been sitting there. So to get the perfect lineup, I had to cut that overhang down and then attack the line from there. Now this is how Buddy came in. Rainbow shaped hairline. Make sure y'all subscribe and comment any ways that I can improve.